All right, and we are live back on the Andre Duke Show with Carter Smith. Carter, how we doing this fine Saturday?
Doing fucking great, man. I'm doing great. Sorry, I shouldn't curse this early in the video. My bad. But no, I'm doing good, man. It's first real football Saturday. Like I'm jacked up, man. I get to watch college football all day. Got to see some good games so far. Got obviously the big one tonight. I'm. It's been a great day, dude. It's been a great day. How about you? How's it going?
It's going relatively well. West Virginia's killing me, but taking in some of
Yeah,
this Miami, Ohio State action on the
yeah. On the
multiverse.
multi-view, yeah, the multiverse, yeah, for sure.
Oh,
That's what I got. I got both those queued up. Obviously, it is what it is. It's Saturday. We're here. Week one. Just I'm jacked up, man. I've been jacked up all morning. I went on. I don't know. I think you saw, but went on Menace to Sports this morning. Talk a little Notre Dame football with Chris, and ever since then, man, I've just been keyed up, ready to go. Like the 7:30 p.m. cannot get here fast enough. Like I am ready. I'm ready to see the Irish go out. I'm ready to see what this team looks like. I am ready for real college football.
right, and the big thing is that this is the payoff for everything that we've been talking about on this show
Mm-hmm.
from way back in early January all the way through the spring season, um, all the way through camp. We took a
Yeah,
little break, rolled out some
yeah,
new things, rebranded some stuff. So we
yeah.
appreciate everybody that is stuck with us this long. And for the new people, if you want to do us a favor, hit the like and subscribe button. Hit that early in the
Mm-hmm.
show. It helps kick us up the algorithms and
Yeah.
tell us where you're watching from as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody go on YouTube, like and subscribe to the show, like the show. I do have a little bit of an announcement. Duke doesn't even know this yet. So I sometimes I just announce shit live on air and he doesn't even know I'm doing it. So this is one of those moments. I do have an announcement. When we get to 500 subscribers, I got some Notre Dame shit that's going to be rolling out. It's going to be some memorabilia. It's going to be I can't give too much away yet, but Brady Quinn type stuff back in the golden days. So I got some stuff that I'm going to give away. So once we hit 500 subscribers, I'm going to go through and we'll do a randomizer. I'll do it live on air so that it's all kosher. There's no questions about it or anything like that. But give away some signed stuff by Brady, and also I might have, if we can get over 1,000 subscribers before the USC game, I might have 2 tickets to the USC game that I'll give away live on air. So
All
just a
right.
little incentive to go out there and to get it done. But yeah, man, we're rocking it. It's great day. Obviously, Georgia went out. Duke, did you watch much of the Georgia game? Georgia went out and did their thing, man.
Yeah, I went out and I watched probably almost close to every snap of the Georgia game
Yeah.
until I had to get ready for the show. The Georgia Bulldogs look tough.
Yeah.
It's like Pat McAfee said, "What's that coming down the track?" It's the big red machine in red and black. So,
Hey, give me Bama. Give me
yeah,
Bama.
yeah.
Still one of the best moments in game day history. But absolutely.
And a side note, the Iowa offense has
What?
awoken.
Bro,
They are
40 bone. They threw a 40 bone out there.
that is the highlight of the weekend so far.
All they had to do was get rid of Brian Ferenc, and that offense is ready to rock. So
So
that brings me to my first topic, though. So Iowa, that's the Buckeyes' first real test. Obviously, they're going to play these slouches in Akron and Western Michigan, and the Sisters of the Poor and the deaf, blind, and handicapped school or whoever. So they're going to get through the first 4 games easy. I don't know, man. I'm watching this Buckeye team. I'm not sold. I am not sold at all. I think they have major problems on the offensive side of the ball.
well, we've talked about this, and this is something we've talked about in accordance to Notre Dame. Um, you got a lot of guys playing meaningful snaps for the first time that don't have a lot of reps together, like Riley Leonard in Will Howard.
Yeah,
So this is a big test um, coming
yeah,
up for Ohio State. I mean Akron, but you strip it all down to bare bones. They've looked stagnant on offense. Can't get the run game going, and think
yeah. That's supposed to be the bread and butter. Like the run game is supposed to be what they lean on because Will Howard is a relatively unknown, like what, not an unknown. We know what he is. He's a subpar Big 12 quarterback. That's why he got beat out by Adrian Martinez. That's why he got beat out by the guy. What's his name? The guy that's the starter this year. But I mean, he's a subpar Big 12 quarterback. That's what he is. That's what he's always been. And you watch him today, and he's not accurate. He's missed so many throws. And luckily, he's got the likes of Jeremiah Smith out there that can make him look okay. But I'm telling you, man, I if this is the Ohio State offense of 2024, Buckeye fans, it's not natty or bust. This isn't a national championship level team so far.
it is a small sample size.
For sure.
It is one half of football.
Yeah.
I just, Buckeye fans are going to be upset, if they don't cover the spread. So
They're not going to cover the spread. I don't know what it got down to, but I think I saw it at almost 50 points. Like what? They're up by 14.
Yeah, in the first half, under 2 minutes coming to a close.
No, I want to see DB 33. I'm sorry. I saw Will Howard for a half. He looked pedestrian. Throw DB 33 out there. Let's see what he looks like. Because I don't know what else the issue is. I mean, the offensive line looks okay. I'll have to wait for the breakdowns and the all 22 film to really evaluate that. But and I know they're missing an offensive lineman. The left guard's not starting. He's injured. Cody Simon's out. I get that. But I expected a lot more coming out to start. Like I expected them to come out all on fire, like all cylinders firing. Like make a statement. You spent $20 million on this roster. Go out there and make a statement and say, yeah, bitch, we're for real. Like, let's go. And that's not what I've seen. What I've seen has been pedestrian. It's been mediocre. Defense looks good. Denzel Burke, baller. But you're also going up against Akron. You should look good. Offense looks very, very weak.
I don't know. It's tough to tell. It's one half of football.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to reserve as much judgment on Ohio State as I can.
Yeah. I mean, and like even when Georgia was struggling against Clemson in the first half, I was like, all right, it's week 1. Like they'll get it together. And they did in the second half. They ended up winning by like 31 points or whatever. And they did what I expected them to do, which was go out and push Dabo's shit in and just tell him, hey, this is big boy football. And so I assume Ohio State will do that in the second half. They'll go out and really flex on Akron, and they'll probably win by 30. But it is concerning.
Yeah. Whenever the film breakdown comes out, I think we'll be able to know a ton more, especially on the offensive side of the ball. But, everybody's got to get synced up and in there so they can, evaluate what's going on. And just on some other topics, Texas is up 31-0 on Colorado State, and
I think that was pretty
evident. Florida.
They just scored, huh? They made it a 7-point game. Billy Napier already week 1 fighting for his job.
Yeah, so we made some predictions on that, and we'll see where that takes us.
I won't back down from that. Florida fans can come after me all they want. I love Florida. I've been to so many games at the Swamp. The Swamp is one of my favorite places in the world. Go to Ballyhoo, go to, all the different places. I love Gainesville, baby. But when I said that you guys will be lucky to win 5 games, I wasn't joking. Like if you guys if Florida loses to Miami today, I'm putting the over under at 4.5.
Yeah, but it's just that's just a tough schedule, and
Yeah, it's the hardest schedule in the history of college football. Like, you guys should be happy if you get 6 wins. Honestly, Billy Napier should get a raise if he gets 6 wins,
oh
but he
yeah,
won't. So you're gonna fire him, and then you're gonna hire fucking Dan Mullen 2.0.
yeah. So I guess we can get into it.
Yeah.
Notre Dame.
Yeah, the big one, baby. It's time. It's time. This is what we've all been waiting for. Like, this has been circled on the schedule for 2 years or however long it's been scheduled. This is the game, week 1. No other game matters. This is the only game of national relevance. Everybody else is going to hold chalk. Georgia's going to win. Ohio State's going to win. Texas is going to win. Michigan's going to beat Fresno State. Like, there's not really any other games. You got LSU, USC tomorrow. Florida State might lose to Boston College Monday. But this is the game that everybody's been waiting for. The biggest game on the biggest stage on the opening weekend of college football. And it's here. I mean, if that doesn't get you jacked up, I don't know what does. Like, this is what everybody's been waiting for. I saw on College Game Day today, they had Johnny fucking Football out there talking his shit about Texas A&M. And when you break it down, and we'll break it down here in a minute, I mean, when you break it down, man, this is going to be a dogfight. Like, this is going to be an absolute gritted out, who's tougher. Can you finish at the end of the game? I don't see any other scenario. I don't see either team blowing the other team out. I don't see any other scenario where this doesn't go down to the wire, where it's not, do you put 11 guys on the field at the end of the game? When it's not, can your guy make a play? Like, it's going to be an absolute dogfight to the finish.
Right. I just don't think that people are prepared for what this game is going to entail. We've got the storylines with Elko and Riley Leonard, and new quarterback Connor Wagman's got to go out there and prove he is a premier guy. He was highly touted coming out of high school. The Texas A&M people feel really, really good about him. The biggest thing that I'm going to be watching in this game is how much does Denbrock run Leonard? Like QB power. How much RPO are we throwing in there? Like, a lot of big things that are gonna need answered in this game.
Absolutely. And I think that'll be telling. And so I was asked it today when I went on the Menace podcast. And one of the concerns, obviously, outside of the offensive line, which I'll touch on, but one of the main concerns is Riley Leonard. Can he stay healthy? And I told him, like, if he's running the football, which is that's part of his game. That's part of what makes him an electric player. That's part of what makes him a good quarterback, is his ability to extend plays, his ability to scramble, his ability to run designed runs. Like, that's part of his game. So you're going to have to utilize that. It's just, if you rely on it too much, like if Elko's calling, or not Elko, if Denbrock's calling the game and he's relying on Riley Leonard as almost a third running back, that's a problem, because you don't want him to get hit. Like, we need to avoid as many hits as possible. That's just the reality of the situation, right? And so, but if they're struggling to move the ball, you always have that ace in your pocket where you can use the quarterback as a runner, because that gives you an advantage. That unbalances the offense. Because on defense, you have your assignments, you match up guys. The quarterback is the only one that doesn't normally get matched up against. And so having that as an ace in the pocket is great, unless you have to rely on it too much and it puts your quarterback in jeopardy, because we all know what's behind him. I'm not saying that Angeli can't be good. I'm not saying CJ Carr can't step in and be a good quarterback, but you don't want to have to get there if you can avoid it. So you have to keep Riley Leonard upright and healthy on non-designed runs, and you have to be smart when you utilize him in the run game. He is going to be used in the run game because that's part of what makes him a good quarterback. It's part of what makes him a weapon for your offense. But you can't, if they go out and they try to Tim Tebow it and they just run the shit out of QB power and stuff like that, like that's a bad formula. That's going to end in him getting hurt at some point this year. So I think this is going to be very telling early on in the year on how much Denbrock and the offensive staff is going to rely on Riley Leonard to kind of be their safety net, right? Like when things don't go right, when you're not moving the ball as effectively as you want to be, are you going to rely on that? Or do you have another plan?
Right. And the offensive game plan is something that I'm very curious on. We talked about it. I think they're going to be trying to get the receivers in space and them guys breaking tackles because, it's the first game for both teams. And a lot of times your DB tackling is a little suspect at times. And I think that would be, a lot of bubbles, a lot of now screens.
Yeah. They'll utilize. I mean, my hope is that they utilize Chris Mitchell a lot from the slot. They get him the ball early and often because he's a guy that can make plays when the ball's in his hands. And like you said, test this secondary. See if they're ready to make the tackle. See if they're, because I know Notre Dame's secondary is elite and Notre Dame's secondary is experienced. So I don't have worries about that. But you need to start testing this defense early and often. But you gotta do quick hitters. You're not, I mean, if you're relying on 5-step drops, you have a young offensive line that's questionable, right? We don't know what this offensive line is going to be going against a very experienced defensive line with some transfers that are very good. That is going to test your offensive line early. So the easiest way to get confidence in your offensive line is to run the ball effectively early and do quick passes to get the ball out of Riley Leonard's hands so that he's not getting hit, and you get the ball into your playmakers' hands in space. And so I think that's the formula early in the game to try to have success.
100%, I agree with you on that. I just the big thing is I want to see how the Notre Dame offensive line handles when they're behind the sticks as far as down and distance, the 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, because I think in this game it's going to be paramount to stay in front of the chains, stay on track. And another element that I was thinking about this afternoon when I was getting ready to do this is I wonder how many mesh concepts Notre Dame might throw in there.
Yeah, I mean,
mesh concepts, pick plays, because you can flex Evans out in the tight end position and use him as a moving screen just like in basketball.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I think that could be a very effective tool.
Yeah, I absolutely. I think they'll utilize that. I think they have to utilize their strengths, right? And so their strengths on offense are tight end and running backs. They have good running backs. It's going to be by committee, but so you're going to have to move the ball with those groups. Your wide receivers are unproven. Chris Mitchell is a good transfer. Bo Collins is supposed to be a guy. I mean, so Chris from Menace to Sports told a story. Do you know this is funny? So do you know Bo Collins and Emeka Egbuka were in the same recruiting class, right?
Yeah.
And so number 1 on Ohio State's board was Emeka. Number 2 was Bo Collins. Do you know who number 3 was?
Marv?
Yeah, Marvin Harrison Jr. So Bo Collins actually picked Clemson over Ohio State, and so they went and got Marv, which obviously we saw how that turned out. But why I bring that up is Bo Collins, since high school recruiting, has been viewed as somebody that can be that level of player. Like Emeka Egbuka and Marvin Harrison Jr., bona fide starters, bona fide wide receiver ones. Obviously, Marv just went top 5 in the draft. So Bo Collins has to go out here today, and he has to prove himself that he's that level of player. And so I think early in the game, you're going to see a lot of Chris Mitchell, maybe some Jordan Faison, like get the ball out quick. But I think later in the game, once the offensive line has established themselves, once they have confidence, once you're not worried about does this freshman know the call, all the minor, like the shit that goes into walking into this atmosphere, you're going to see some shots downfield with Bo Collins. Bo Collins has to go out and take over this game in a way that a wide receiver has not done for Notre Dame since I don't know, I guess Golden
Claypool?
Tate. Claypool, I guess, yeah. But you got to go out there and you got to be a dude. And I think Bo Collins, this needs to be his coming out party tonight. They have to protect Riley Leonard, and Bo Collins has to go out there and make plays on top of everything else. Obviously, you have to establish the run game early. You have to establish a rhythm early. But once it gets later in the game, that's where you need somebody like Bo Collins, who's a true X receiver, to go out there and to take over.
100%. And also, I think they need that guy. It would bring a huge dynamic if they can establish the guy that's going to be able to take the top off the defense.
Yeah, they need a guy that can stretch the defense.
And so that's where I'm at on the Notre Dame side of it. And also, what is Texas A&M going to look like on offense? That's the big question for me.
Yeah, Wegman's it's time. I mean, it's his time. He's got to come out. He's healthy. He apparently he's very comfortable in the new offense that Elko brought in. And he has to go out there. I hear a lot of rumblings about how great he's looked in fall camp, how great he was in the spring, how this guy could potentially be a dark horse for like a Heisman candidate even. And that's all fine, but he has to go out and do it. And he's going to have to do it against one of the best defenses in college football. That's the other part. I hear a lot of people talking about this A&M team and all the talent that they've brought in and everything that Elko brings to the table. And we'll talk about Elko in a minute because I think that is an underlying storyline. But they still have to go out there and they still have to play one of the best defenses in college football. Somebody that Ohio State could only put 17 or 20 points up against last year. I mean, this defense is legit, and they're going to go out there and they're going to make this first-time starting quarterback have to beat them. They have their starting running backs out. Reuben Owens is out, not going to play. So they're going to have to rely on other running backs. They're going to have Connor Wegman starting a quarterback. The offense for A&M doesn't scare me. It's just, can the offense for Notre Dame match whatever the offense for A&M is able to do? Because they're going to score. They're going to get some points. But this defense should be able to shut them down. And that's why I'll get to my prediction later. I think I've said it a couple of times already, so it's nothing new. But I'm telling you, everybody's focused on Notre Dame's offense versus A&M's defense. That's kind of what people have focused on. I think that's going to be a subplot. I think the main question or the main plot of the game is going to be Notre Dame's defense versus A&M's offense. Because I think you have a strength in Notre Dame's defense. That is the strength of the team. That is an elite defense going up against a question mark in A&M's offense.
Also, I think another underlying issue that that people aren't going to take into account, I think field position in this game is going to be key as far as flipping the field, pinning your opponent deep. The starting field position is going to how Elko and Marcus Freeman navigate flipping the field is going to be a huge advantage or a disadvantage for somebody. And I feel like this is going to be a game of chess, not checkers, and it's going to be which team flinches first.
Yeah. 100%. And I think, and here's where we'll get into the Elko side of things. I think the biggest thing that this game's going to show us is how serious is Marcus Freeman as a head coach in college football. Elko has a resume. He obviously tested Notre Dame last year at Duke. He has a history with Riley Leonard. The storylines write themselves there. And Riley Leonard talked about it on game day. He's talked about it several times. They're not making it about them going against each other. But Marcus Freeman is going to have to outcoach Mike Elko today. The talent on the field is going to be pretty equal. Some positions you have A&M, some positions you have Notre Dame, a little bit better. But at the end of the day, these two teams are pretty equal on paper, and it's going to come down to decision making by the head coach. And Elko has more experience doing that.
Right. And I don't think it's a disadvantage, but I feel like Marcus Freeman's going to have a couple key points in the game to where it's going to come down to one decision could decide this game, one possession could decide this game. It's and for everybody out there that thinks it's going to be a high scoring game, it may be the
hammer the under.
First team that gets to 20 or 21 points may win this game.
Yeah, no, that's where I have it.
But now that since I have said that, it's probably going to be an offensive explosion.
Right. Yeah, anything. But no, I think it's definitely I mean, I hate to harp on it because obviously it's been talked about ad nauseum. But it's going to come down to something as trivial as making sure you have 11 guys on the field. It's going to come down to making sure that you dot your T's, you dot your I's and cross your T's. Like that's what this game seems like to me. It's going to come down to. It's not going to be a talent explosion of just points and everybody's going to be keeping up with the score. No, it's going to be who does the little things, who's out there, knows their assignments, doesn't mess it up. And at the end of the game, who can make a play? Because in my experience, that's what games like this come down to. You have two teams that on paper, pretty similar. I mean, like I said, different at certain positions, but overall, very talented teams that are going to come out and they're going to go into an absolute dogfight. And at the end of the game, somebody's going to have to make a play. And so in order to get to that point, you have to do the little things right the entire game. You can't be taking unnecessary penalties. You can't be having turnovers. Like if Riley Leonard isn't safe with the football and he fumbles a couple times or throws a couple picks, that's a game. That's over. And same with Wegman. Like you have to protect the ball. You have to be sound fundamentally. And then at the end of the game, somebody on your team who's a playmaker who should step up has to step up and win the game. And it's going to have to be Riley Leonard or Connor Wegman. They're going to have to make a play at the end of the game to win it. In my opinion, obviously they go out and play here in 2 hours and it could be 35-0 and all this is irrelevant. But from what I can see, I think it's going to be a very close game. It's going to be very fun. I mean, I'm just excited to watch it. It's going to be one of the best games we get all year.
Right. And here's another tidbit. I've brought it up briefly in past shows that we've done, but for kickoff, it's going to be 95 degrees.
Yeah, and it'll be warm.
And warm. That it's going to be a skillet.
I played golf in it yesterday. It wasn't that bad.
Well, I think in Central Ohio, 95 and outside of Houston is two separate things, but
a little different.
And I think this is also going to come down to, I think we're going to see on both defenses what they have for depth on both sides, Notre Dame and Texas A&M, because I think when it comes to the defensive line, both Texas A&M and Notre Dame have some big dudes, and it's going to come down to what do the backups do, and how well they can play and fit the gap, play assignment football and be fundamentally sound, because you're gonna have to rotate.
Yeah, no, they're definitely gonna rotate, and that's where I think Notre Dame has an edge. Notre Dame's too deep defensively, at least. I think is comparable to anybody on the country, and it's not. And the thing that Texas A&M did is they brought in 16 transfers on their too deep, so starters everywhere. Hey, I love Louisville. I love Louisville. I'm a Kentucky basketball fan, so I have some feelings about Louisville. But hey, I love it. You go down to 4th Street there, you have a great time. I agree. I think Notre Dame wins tonight, and I'll say my prediction. I have Notre Dame 24, A&M 17.
I I think it may be 2017 Notre Dame.
20
I
to
hate
17. Yeah,
Yep, 20 to
yeah.
17. I just feel like it's gonna be one of those games that, everybody's gonna think. I think your offensive explosion game is gonna be tomorrow night with LSU and USC. Um,
Hmm.
you
Yeah,
know, but I do think the clock rules have changed the game significantly.
yeah,
With
absolutely.
the
Ryan
with
Day
the
was bitching about them all last year.
so, and I think it plays into the Elko Marcus Freeman style
Hmm.
of coaching. Control the clock, um, in controlling the clock in possessing the football is going to be huge on this.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's. I mean, like I said, I think Notre Dame. In order for Notre Dame to be successful this year, it's going to come down to the defense being what we think it is, which is a top 5 defense. Jeremiah Love absolutely needs to have a huge game. I love that. I think he will.
And
Um, yeah, go ahead.
and I think this could be a game that, with the loss of Audric Estime,
Mhm.
we could finally see, somebody stepping up and picking up those extra carries that, Estime had last year.
Yeah,
The that's just the big thing that I'm looking at, and rotation with the running backs as well.
yeah. I know they have probably down to 2 or 3 now because the one Payne got hurt. But Jeremiah Love is absolutely going to be a fixture in the offense, and he's going to be a huge part of what this offense does. And getting back to what I was saying, in order for Notre Dame to be successful tonight and the entire year, it's going to come down to defense and running game. And Riley Leonard just has to facilitate all of that. He has to be a good enough quarterback, kind of like JJ McCarthy last year. I don't think he needs to throw for 4,000 yards for Notre Dame to have a good season. I think he needs to go out, and when he needs to make a throw, he has to be able to do it. But it's going to come down to, can the offensive line stand up and be a cohesive unit that is one of the, by the end of the year, the offensive line needs to be a top 20 offensive line in the country in order for
Yeah,
Notre Dame to accomplish its goals.
and
That's just the only way this is going to work. And then Jeremiah Love and the rest of the running backs have to be able to step in and take over for Audric Estime and go out and put up numbers. And I think Jeremiah Love absolutely can do that.
I think he's somebody that's not getting as much pub in.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't get as much pub because they brought Riley Leonard in, and
Mm-hmm.
he may be an overlooked guy a little bit. And
Yeah.
also, we're at the 30-minute mark. We almost have 100 people in here watching. If you guys could hit the like and subscribe button, help us grow the show, that would be fantastic. Or if you're watching on Twitter, come on over to YouTube and join the
Yeah.
chat.
Join the chat so we can show stuff like this. My dude, I hear you. I'm not at my normal studio, but yeah, it's a little dark in here. I apologize to anybody that the quality's not there, but I'm doing it on the run today. But absolutely. So, I mean, outside of everything we talked about, obviously, offensive line is the biggest question mark for Notre Dame. They're going to be starting a freshman, a sophomore, and 3 juniors that have combined for 6 starts their entire career. I think at the end of the day, if Notre Dame goes into College Station tonight, plays sound football where they don't have a bunch of penalties, they don't have a bunch of turnovers, I think Notre Dame walks out of there with a victory. And I think it starts a massive trajectory for Marcus Freeman, because I think if they lose today, Marcus Freeman is going to start feeling the pressure hugely.
Massive.
Massive.
So, yeah, I just feel that Notre Dame needs to continue and build.
Hmm.
We also have to remember Brian Kelly is not the head coach of this football team.
Thank God.
So that's just something to take into
No,
account
I
too.
think I think we're going to get a clean sweep this weekend. Notre Dame's going to beat A&M. I said 24-17. And then USC is going to go out there and they're going to mess LSU up. And we're going to be happy Notre Dame fans because Brian Kelly lost and Notre Dame won.
Do you know he'll be? I think he would be the only LSU coach in their school's history to lose 3 opening games if he
Good.
loses on Sunday.
Good.
So,
and he can blame it on NIL because they don't have the money down there apparently.
Well, they signed Derek Meadows, so
yeah, they keep doing it. But yeah, absolutely. So I mean, hey, that's just my thoughts. I think you're going to get a Notre Dame, parlay it if you want to. I'm about to. Notre Dame victory, USC victory, parlay that shit. I'll probably get you some decent change there, and we're going to all have a great weekend. Go Irish and fuck Brian Kelly always.
And I'm going to take LSU in the points. Sorry, I don't trust that USC defense, and it's really hard for me to root for.
What do you mean?
Lincoln Riley,
Miller Moss, baby.
It just.
Hey, here we go. My guy, Jeremy. That's what I'm talking about. 38-10, make a statement. Let's go. Yeah, I hope you're right, Jeremy. I hope you're right.
Yeah, and then also after the game, I think we're going to do a Twitter space as well.
Yeah,
after
absolutely.
The game.
Come on Twitter at the Andre Duke Show or at Andre Duke Show, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Come out. We'll be breaking it down, chopping it up with all you guys. Yeah.
And Twitter space will probably be about 10 or 15 minutes after the game. So we'll probably hop on there for 15, 20. And if you have some grievances, you can get on there and air them out. And it's
hey, and one thing about this platform, we invite all the smoke. So come at us, man. I'm for it. I'm all for it. If Notre Dame loses, I'll take it on the chin. But Texas A&M fans, Michigan fans that we've pissed off, Ohio State fans, whoever you are, come talk to us.
Yeah, the Michigan fans, I feel bad for you. You guys are about to get smoked into a molten rubble. You're just going to be a gaping hole.
Yeah, well, we'll save that. But yeah, you guys are done.
Yeah, Georgia did make a statement today. And
Clemson's definitely falling off, though. I agree completely with both parts of that statement. Georgia made a statement. I think Georgia is one of the best 4 teams in college football. But Clemson's cooked. Dabo refuses to adapt.
Yeah, it's just the thing with Dabo is that it's so hard to put that cornball in like a jar.
Bro,
because if you're a serious recruit, how can you take him seriously? And then we didn't even cover it on the show this week. We had Dabo's not taking live questions. Tyler from Spartanburg just nuked him.
Tyler nuked him, bro. He won't even take live questions anymore because Tyler was so big.
Yeah, I agree with that. Dabo did ruin the program after he took him to the top.
And here's why. It's because he refuses to accept reality. Dude doesn't go out and get transfers. Like, transfer portal exists. He refuses to acknowledge its existence. He thinks it's like this made-up fairyland where somehow everybody else gets top talent, but he doesn't do the transfer portal, NIL. And I'm not all for the faith and the God and everything like that. Like, that's cool. Put that at the forefront of your program. But I'm sorry, in today's day and age, God isn't going to build you a program. Like, you have to go out and build it. He'll give you the tools. He created the transfer portal, if you want to look at it that way, but go out and utilize it.
Right. And, Georgia had several transfers that they had brought in that played today. I think there's a fine line between, mixing and matching. The portal is kind of there, kind of like what Ohio State did. They went in there and filled some spots for some guys. Picking up Quinshon Junkins was huge. Picking up and like Notre Dame, picking up Bo Collins, picking up Riley Leonard. It's not completely It's not completely rebuilding the roster like what's going on out there in Colorado, where
Yeah,
they
no,
have 80 new kids a year.
yeah, you can't use the portal as like a roster fulfillment thing. Like you just go out and you get the players that you want, and you fill the needs that your roster already has. You still have to rely on high school recruiting and building the program the normal way, but this is just an auxiliary way to add talent. Like Julian Sane is a prime example. Did Ohio State need Julian Sane?
No.
No. Did they want him in high school recruiting? Absolutely. They recruited their ass off to try to get him. He went to Alabama. The coach left Alabama, and they went, hey, you remember that kid we really liked that was number one on our board that went somewhere else? Well, now he's available. Maybe we should talk to him. And then you do. It's that simple. Or, hey, Caleb Downs was the top freshman safety in the world. He's looking to leave Alabama. We could use that. And you do. Like, they didn't need Quinshon Judkins. They had Travion Henderson. They had Dallin Hayden. They have recruits coming in. Like, they don't have to go out there. But that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah.
Okay, fire up that grill, baby. What are you grilling, Jeremy? What's on the grill today?
Yeah, you didn't smoke anything today, Carter?
I didn't. So, like I said, I'm over at Zach's. My sister came down from Detroit. My dad's in from Dallas. So we're just hanging out. So I didn't smoke anything up, but I think probably next weekend. No, not next weekend. I'm out of town. So the weekend after, my kids and I will probably smoke up some brisket.
All right. Well, we went about 41 minutes. Ohio State's third quarter's underway, and Miami and Florida is back on.
No, Miami scored again, 24-10, huh?
Yep. So you want to go ahead and
yeah, we can hop off here. Let everybody get back to burnt ends. My guy, that's what I love to hear. Brats and some burnt ends. All right, now I'm getting hungry. We got to get out of here. But I appreciate everybody hopping on. We just wanted to go live, give you kind of preview of what we see happening tonight. As always, like and subscribe, retweet, all that stuff. You know, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, everywhere. And reach out to us. Shoot us a DM, comment on the video, let us know how we're doing and where we can get better at all times. And hopefully I'll see some of you guys in the Twitter space tonight. And yeah, 100% as always, go Irish, baby.
Yep, it's almost game time. And if everybody could, hit the like and subscribe, send this to your group chat. And we're thinking about doing some things. And we'll be at the Louisville game, possibly Florida State game. So if you're in the area, we'll be
hit us up. We'll be there.
Out and about. So, all right.
Absolutely.
All right, everybody, let's go Irish and probably see you after the game.